City Jazz Sessions is about great music, arts, and entertainment. We are in St. Louis, Missouri, and available for performance art lovers worldwide. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. You can email us at cityjazzsessions@gmail.com.
Special guest, seven-string guitarist Ron Jackson from New York. How you doing, Ron?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So, how are things up in New York?
Oh, fine. Yeah, yeah, it's nice up here.
Laka, I did not introduce you, but everybody's
Oh,
familiar with the lovely Laka, my
Right.
co-host.
yeah.
Just forgot all about me.
I just Laka. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm in
just
the
gonna just do
doghouse
this.
now.
Yeah, just making sure
So,
it's all clear.
Laka, you've met Ron on the phone. Well, virtually,
Right.
we had a conversation, and I think eventually you guys are going to be working together. But let's let Ron tell us a little bit about himself and his how he got started and what he's doing now.
Oh yeah. So how I got started? I started playing when I was about 11. The guitar. I was into rock. I lived. It was funny. I was living in the Boston area. Suburb, and most of the people listen to rock music. So I got into I went to see all kinds of rock concerts. And then I got into jazz. When I was in my teens, I saw Miles Davis play actually when I was in high school, and it was cool. And Pat Metheny, he was actually a warm up band for Miles Davis at the time. And then I went to Berklee College of Music, studied jazz composition arranging, and I'm just doing this real quick. So then I moved to Paris for a couple years after Berkeley, and then I
Okay.
moved to New York after that.
So when you say rock, give me an example. What type of artists are we talking about?
Well, when I was in high school, I went to see a lot of like rock artists like Van Halen. Unbelievable. I saw them seven. He was one of my heroes actually. But I mean, I was also listening to Jimi Hendrix.
There
I
you go.
was George Benson, but also like groups like Foreigner and all these crazy bands.
I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
I went in those kind of bands, all kinds of bands like that. And then I was getting to jazz at the same time. So I
Yeah.
got to see Miles, a few times actually. I saw him
So
once
what
in Boston. Yep, go ahead.
what made you lean more towards jazz than rock? Because I feel like a lot of people think of the guitar as like a rock, instrument. So
Oh, I just was more. I got more interested. I had some friends in high school who were into it, and then I just wanted to play jazz. I was actually into everything though. I was actually into like finger picking style guitar playing, folk music, you know, that kind of stuff. More world music kind of stuff. I saw John McLaughlin a lot. Those kind of people when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Al Di Meola and Paco de Lucia. I was into everything, but did someone said you should go to Berkeley? I said okay. So
Wow.
I went over to Berkeley, yeah, and that's how I got to jazz. Um,
nice.
and yeah, but I mean, I still love rock. Don't get me wrong. So
Right. Right. So
so when I go ahead.
when you started playing guitar, did you play a traditional six string and then move up to the seventh, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I started out playing six string guitar until about I started studying with this guy named Bucky Pizzarelli. Um,
Yeah.
this guy, and
Hmm.
and this was about this was actually in the early 2000s. He was about 77 already, and I started studying swing guitar playing with him, like the Freddie Green style. And
Hmm.
then but he was a seven string player, uh, for like at least 20 years already, and he was trying to get people like myself into seven string guitar because most people don't play seven string guitar. You
Oh,
know,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how I got into seven string guitar. I didn't really switch until I didn't. I mean, I'm not completely switched because I still play six string because most people don't play six string, and I teach six string. And I do a lot of videos online. Um, you know, instructional videos for people to so they don't know. 7-string. But I'm starting to put videos like that now. But I switched about 10 years ago. I mean, I started doing both.
Well,
So
it seems like you guys are just playing more and more strings now. We've got a guitar player on the team named Al Caldwell. You ever heard of him?
I've heard of him. I think. What does he play?
Yeah, he's got a ridiculous amount of strings on his bass, and I'm like, man, how do they?
Oh yeah. Well, that's a bass. That's different.
Yeah,
There's a 6-string bass, but I think 6-string basses only go up to 6 strings. You know, I like a
I
6-string
think
guitar.
Al's got more.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, his
If he has,
email 9-string bass, blah blah blah, with something to that effect, and I'm like, wait a minute, how many strings? So he may have
But
10.
Al, he could be joking because he jokes like a lot.
yeah, I don't know if he has. I'll have to check that out. I don't think.
Yeah. Check it out.
Okay.
I saw some pictures and the neck was like this big. I'm like, how do you play that?
Yeah. I mean, those 6-string basses have really wide necks because they're bigger strings.
Yeah.
But on a 7-string, the neck's a little bit wider than a 6-string. But on a 6-string bass, it's much wider because the strings are much bigger. They're bigger strings that have a lower pitch.
Right.
So,
right.
But I mean, it's typical to now. I mean, there's more in music like Brazilian music and progressive rock and rock. They use 7-string and 8-string guitar is actually very common. I'm actually I just ordered an 8-string guitar. It's
Really?
mostly this is a really amazing guitarist named Tosin Abasi. He's like Nigerian American. He has a progressive rock band. He makes his own models of guitars. They're 8-string guitars, so they have even 2 lower notes. And so I want to, I mean, it's called they call it extended range instruments. That's what they call them. So you get so I'm really trying to push that to all my not push it, but I'm trying to educate people to become 7-string players because there aren't enough people like that that play in jazz, particularly that play extended range instruments. Particularly, there's no African American guitar players except for me, as far as I know. So
Really?
I'm trying to get
Okay.
on 7-string. No, so I'm one of the only ones in the world, probably, in jazz. So I'm trying to get into that, trying to get that people to educated about that. So that's why I have these shirts made like this, all the 7-string players right here.
Here's the question I see posted.
Nice.
How many guitars does a guitar player need?
Oh, well, to change the light bulb?
Just to make him happy,
Unlimited amounts. No, I'm just joking.
Right.
No, I mean, particularly, I mean, I have a lot of guitars. I have like 15 guitars right now, but that's not a lot. But I have to get rid of like this guitar right here. I was telling you earlier that I want to promote my Indiegogo campaign. So this is actually like one of the perks. Oh, thank you, Warren, for getting my new album through my Indiegogo campaign. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're going to be autograph it, right?
Of course, when it comes out. I'm recording on November 3rd, actually. So my album.
Okay, great.
Yeah, here in New York. So, and then it's going to be coming out in February. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into that project. What is Indiegogo? Is Indiegogo?
Yeah, so Indiegogo is a crowdfunding platform to raise. Last year, my former manager, was trying to look for a record deal. We couldn't find me a record deal because of the pandemic and other things. So I decided just to, I booked this tour in the Midwest already. And I need to get this record out because I wanted to release at the same time I'm on the road,
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's the best way to. And I'm actually having a radio promoter, Group Marketing. They're doing the radio promotion, and DL Media. Don Lukoff is the promoter, is the publicist. So I want the album out to be at the same time. So I have to get this record out. So I decided to do a fundraiser. So Indiegogo is a platform where you could, collect money through pledges. and selling perks. So like one of the perks is this shirt. I just created this a couple of weeks ago, and
Nice.
we
Okay.
created this, and this is my 7-string Guitar Hero shirt, and then this other shirt is my 6-string Guitar Hero shirt. You know, and of course,
Yeah.
so this is like all the greats. You have to guess who they are though, because we don't put the last name for copyright, and all that.
Right, right.
Right.
First names is fine. So these are my favorites. My favorites. Of course, there's a lot more other guys that I could have included here.
Yeah.
But of course, it'd be it'd be all over the place on the shirt. But so I mean, so if you can guess who these guys are before the end of the show, let me know.
I
Yeah,
love
And
it. That's a great idea. That's
yeah,
a
these
great
have been
idea,
selling up.
Ron.
This has been selling like hotcakes actually.
Nice.
So I had a fundraiser. So anyway, so what you do is you offer. It's basically people can buy like Warren did, buy the album before it's released at a discount, and I'll sign it. And
Mhm.
and for example, the shirts. One of the items is this guitar.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, signed by me is one of the perks. I just lowered the price because what happened was my Indiegogo. You let them run for like 30 days, and it's
Mhm.
basically people donate or they buy a perk. So like one person gave me like like a 4-figure donation. One of the perks is one of my friends, her husband has this debilitating disease where you can't talk anymore. He can think, but he can't talk, and he can,
Yeah.
right now he's having a problem swallowing, and so he has to get food,
Mm.
fed down his.
Feeding tube. Yeah.
So one of the perks is writing him a song. So that's one of the
Mm.
things. Another thing is like I have this book. I have a guitar book, that I write. I write for Acoustic Guitar Magazine,
Yeah.
and this book is one of the perks that people can get. I sign it, and you can learn how to do chord melody and jazz guitar playing in this book, with some other great teachers that write for that magazine. So this is there's a bunch of these perks.
So
So
what
and then,
level is that book
uh-huh.
for? Is that intermediate, beginner, or what?
Yeah, oh yeah, beginner to intermediate, beginner to advanced actually. There's some really simple lessons. The simple lessons weren't written by me. This book is called Chords at Your Fingertips. So if everybody wants to go to my Indiegogo, they can go there and check this out. They can get it at a discount with me signed, and it actually comes with video online that it comes with a book, so you can learn every lesson. It's a lesson book, and we call it the weekly workout on Acoustic Guitar Magazine. So it's a progressive weekly workout where you learn one skill on the guitar. There's one of the things is like playing like walking bass lines on guitar. Another is chord melody, and it comes with music and tablature for people who want to learn this stuff. And it's a great book, and I just actually wrote another article for Acoustic Guitar Magazine that's coming out in January. So I write about 2 or 3 articles a year for them, mostly lessons, sometimes reviews. And so that's been I've been working for them for the last 10 years writing articles, because I play acoustic guitar too, actually, as well.
Okay.
So yeah, and so the next perk I got, the most important one, is that has anybody ever heard of Jamel Shabazz, the famous street photographer in New York?
I have
He's
Mm-mm.
like, anyway, he just donated um, a photo that's worth, it's a one of a kind, one of the only photo works in the world, and to my campaign, and we haven't advertised it yet. It's gonna be, we have to publicize it with a press release, and that photo is worth at least $5,000.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, so he just donated to my campaign, and it's a collector's item. Some of his works are bought. We just heard personally that Swiss Beats just bought most of his collection, for example. So the rapper that's married to Alicia Keys. So
Yeah.
her husband, yeah. So so he's like the top photographer in New York right now.
Okay.
African
Wow.
American, yeah. So those are some of the perks you can get through my campaign to help me fund my new album, basically. So that's what that
Neat.
platform's for. So
And the adopt a song one that you have, is that the one where you're writing it for someone, or what is that feature?
Yeah, that's all. I'm writing that song for somebody, and
Okay,
then
got it.
when it's composed, they can name it if they want.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and then one's an executive producer, which is it's a very expensive perk, but then you could
Mm-hmm.
say I was a executive producer of the record. There's art designer. It could be whatever you want, I mean,
Right.
one of my friends just donated $1,000, for example. Just a donation.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to like buy perk. He bought a shirt too, actually, after it came out. So I just sent it off to him
Mm-hmm.
today. So the shirt just came out. We thinking of some new perks to come out. Like
Okay. Wow.
so it's yeah, a show at your house, for
Yeah.
example, and hiring my band. And last Saturday, I was trying to get the Jazz Foundation of America to help with my campaign, but they don't really do that. But a friend of me and my wife's put together. They have like a house in Brooklyn, a beautiful house with a beautiful backyard. They said, "Well, we'll host a party there for you." And what happened was, you know, so they donated the space to get they donated the food and drinks and everything, and the Jazz Foundation paid for my band to play as a donation. So
Nice.
so then we were able to sell. So the different ways of fundraising that I'm doing right now, and for the album, because it's very
Yeah.
expensive, to release a record now. Especially
Right.
not only hiring the band, but is the promotion is very expensive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, the radio promoter I'm going to be using, he's like the top promoter in the country. He does Wynton Marsalis, all kinds of people. You know,
Hmm.
and one of the things I've been doing is like on the album, one of the perks that's offered is that like I mentioned it to the radio promoter, and I said, do you want your logo on the record? So like this is one of my albums, so that people have logos that I put
Hmm.
on the
Mm-hmm.
back of my album, and they said, yeah, we would love that, man, because I'm gonna put it on the tour posters for my website, on the album itself. They said, yeah, sure, we'll give you 10% off to promotion, which is actually, if I tell you the price of the promotion, it's actually a pretty big discount, to put your
Yeah.
logo on
Nice.
here. So that's what I've been offering these, people. So people, quite a few people did it, like one of the guitar companies I have. So these are different ways of, crowdfunding, we call it, a little bit here, a little bit there
Right.
for a big goal. So if you ever
Yeah.
want to do a record, you should do it that way too. you know, or
Okay.
whatever you want money raised to. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about like what's going to be on the album.
So my first album, if I show you a picture of it, was called Standards. I don't know if Warren ever heard that record. Oh, actually, he did. I just sent him the download. Actually, so my first record. This is my first 7-string record called Standards and Other Songs.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I basically I had this concept. This is the first album I did with no. I'm a composer. That's why I studied at Berkeley, but there's no original songs here. It's all I took some of my favorite standards and
Hmm.
some pop songs that I love, and R&B, and actually one Drake song, and I adapted it to jazz. So I took Moondance, which is kind of a swing song already by Van
Mm-hmm.
Morrison. I put it on there. Another song I put up there was Anytime by Brian McKnight.
Yeah.
And I made that into a jazz tune, a jazz style tune, swing. And I took Lovely Day by Bill Withers,
Yeah.
and I made it into a samba. So you could. I don't know if Warren's going to play that. And I took "You Are My Lady" by Freddie Jackson and made it into like a swing tune. So and I
Yeah.
so that's my first concept. My second, so this is my first 7-string guitar record too. So you know, so and what I did was my second album, the one that I'm about to record on November 3rd, is called Standards and My Songs. So I'm going to be recording some standards, maybe a couple of pop songs too, but
Mm-hmm.
the other half will be my original songs this time, because I didn't do that. I usually have original songs on my records anyway. Like half the record is originals. So they'll be all jazz style, original tunes. Maybe going to Latin a little bit here and there, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
So
Warren, do we want to play something off that album?
I was just thinking about the conversation we had earlier about the copyright thing.
Copyright. Yeah.
Maybe yeah,
Oh,
we got a letter, an email about that from last show, so we're gonna have to kind of watch playing that copyrighted stuff.
oh, I mean, I could have sent you original music too. I didn't know you couldn't do that on your
No,
podcast.
even if it's your original music, because we had Al's original music, and then
Oh,
it picked it up on YouTube because it's on our YouTube page.
oh yeah, you know what too? That yeah, you know it's really funny. I get on my own YouTube page, I get the same thing on my own music.
Yeah,
You know, yeah,
Right.
it's so what happened was you know, I'm getting royalties for it anyway. That's why. Even
Yeah.
if it's my page, so I can't contest it really. So it's being played on my page, so I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
but
Well,
oh, that's too bad. You can't.
one day we want to have this big budget where we can, you know, pay all these guys off to play the music. That's all they want is money.
Well, yeah, you know how it works. I mean, when you
Yeah,
go to a club like we're gonna talk about Blue Strawberry in a minute, but you know, they pay ASCAP BMI, and I'm with CSAC
exactly.
actually. They
Yeah.
pay them a flat licensing fee for the whole year
Mhm.
to have anything played in their club. So I mean,
Right.
I mean, you know, it's actually what's really good about CSAC is that whenever I play a venue and I play my original music, I can actually tell them what I played, and they actually send me like whatever a few dollars per song
Oh wow.
directly to me. Yeah, which is really
Cool.
good. They're the best for that. Actually, they're better than BMI and ASCAP. They do BMI and ASCAP do like a not a rating system, but you know, like they take an overall average of all the money they collect, and they because jazz is down here, and if
Mhm.
it's R&B, it's up there, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're a rock artist, you'll be making a ton of money off of them. If you're a jazz artist, you'll be getting a little, little taste, you know. So
I,
yeah,
yeah, it's always a
Mhm.
rip off there.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your band that you're performing with nowadays.
Well, I usually use just a guitar trio, guitar, a 7-string guitar, bass, and drums.
Hmm.
So on the album, I have the drummer named Willie Jones III. He's a
Okay.
great drummer. They used to play with we played with Wynton and Roy Hargrove, and he's a Grammy Award winning drummer. And I'm
Mm.
gonna have Ben Wolf, who played with Wynton and Harry Connick Jr.
Oh
Old,
wow.
yeah, old friends of mine, and too. So I'm going to be using them on this album. I'm going to have a couple of special guests. So when I'm traveling this time, I don't know if I'm going to be using a Hammond organ player or a bass player and a drummer. So I'm trying to decide that right now. You know. So while
Hmm.
I'm trying to fill up the rest of the tour too, because right now I have 5 dates in the Midwest, but I'm trying to fill up the 2 weeks that I have over there. You know,
Yeah.
between performances. So you know, I'm trying to fill a little. If there's any place guys can think of in that area while I'm over there. But yeah, so
Hopefully
that's what I'm
you'll
doing.
get to pick up a couple more here for when around that time when you come. You got a little time.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, let's talk about that.
for
I'm
sure.
trying to. So I just got picked up Blue Strawberry, but I'm actually. I sent you my schedule. Do you have that? You see
Yeah,
Hmm.
that?
that's over. Let's see, where's that schedule? Is that the whatever's open tour
Yeah,
2022? Okay, yeah, you got
yeah.
Medina, Ohio, then the Blue Strawberry here, Holland, Michigan, Madison, Wisconsin, Iola, Kansas.
Yeah, that's what I have so far. And
Okay.
that's only in the Midwest because right now I work on the West Coast too. And I'm supposed to go to Kansas City actually, um, at the Blue Room, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They won't have me till April though, so I'm gonna have to do that separately. Just come in and do that gig. So I talked to the person over there already, and I can't. You know, we're gonna work on that in December.
That's
So
pretty
it's
good.
coming along. You know, I did all this myself. You know,
Hmm.
it's a lot of time and effort. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know, yeah. So
Sure. And people can go to your website to find that ronjacksonmusic.com.
yes, my tour itinerary
Okay.
is there.
Yeah.
The Indiegogo too. It'll pop right up in your face.
Yep.
You know, And
Mm-hmm.
right now, we just restarted the campaign. You know, it was about to end on Sunday, but we decided to extend it until the full length. Because on Indiegogo, they say the sweet spot is 32 days, and we did that.
Mm-hmm.
But we raised about 25% of that, you know. So we want to raise the rest if we can by the end of the by November 7th, which where it's going to end actually.
Right.
And hopefully, you know, we can get more. You know, we're trying to get some more. What's it called? Wealthier backers, maybe. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some big,
you know,
big.
yeah. I mean, if we get the, if we can get, we can actually, you know, auction off the Jamel Shabazz, you know, one of a kind, one of the only ones in the world photo.
Hmm.
That would be amazing, you know.
Yeah, your website looks great, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
love the design and how you have the videos and everything set up and the
yeah,
merch.
yeah. I just got it redesigned by my assistant, you know. So that's really, yeah. They did a great job,
Yeah.
you know, because it was like you could just scroll down and see everything. Go to my
Mm-hmm.
store, see my tour dates. So yeah, they did a great job doing that. You
Yeah,
know,
and you've got music people can listen to on here.
I do
yeah,
have the
they
Indiegogo. If you wanted me to pull that up,
sure.
let's see if I can share that.
So if anybody is interested, let me know. Yeah, so that's the yeah, good. So if you look on the right, if you want to scroll down, Warren. So see on the right hand side are my perks. Like the top, my
Adopt a
album.
song.
Yeah, so like the first one is like you can adopt a song.
Mm-hmm.
One
Mm-hmm.
of my friends bought that already. Uh, what's the second one? I can't see it too close.
A dollar and the dream.
Yeah, if you just want to donate $1 and you can't afford it, you just donate $1.
Gotcha.
Three is a charm, and you keep going. The perks get bigger and bigger. Five on it.
Five and
You get digital album download. You're gonna get a standard played on your you know, as a song request on my social media.
oh,
And then you
okay.
can go to a how-to social media. I mean, I do a lot of how-to videos on Instagram and TikTok and all that. Then you can get a signed CD, which Warren got. Thank you, Warren.
Sure, sure.
And then Chords at Your Fingertips, the book I was just talking about.
Right.
And then the shirts. You know, I
Yeah.
made them exclusively for Indiegogo, and they, you know, people love these shirts when they walk around on the street and stuff. You know.
Then you
Then you
got
can get all my CDs.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Double sevens, gift
gift
card.
card.
Okay. A
I'm
vinyl
making.
LP.
I'm gonna make vinyls. I'm gonna make vinyls of the album too. Actually, I love vinyls the best for sound. Actually, they're the best.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this album, I'm creating all tabs and sheet music for guitar players. So I already sold some of those already. Like 5 people bought them already.
Wow.
And
Yep.
then you can get both T-shirts if you want,
Mm-hmm.
and no T-shirt and a lesson bundle, and a T-shirt and a lesson bundle again.
Now,
Oh,
are you doing lessons via like Zoom or virtual platforms?
Oh yes, yes, mostly
Hmm.
now,
Yeah.
especially since the pandemic. I've been doing virtual lessons for at least 10 years already.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
were ahead of the curve on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been doing them for a while. I mean, it's funny. I was talking to somebody. One of my students. I was telling one of my students that I have this young kid that I was teaching. Well, he was a kid at the time, and you know, he lived out in L.A. He's actually a friend of one of my other students, my high school students, who's actually a really great session player now in L.A. He was one of my high school students, and so he recommended this kid in L.A. Really talented guy, and I taught this guy for like 2 or 3 or 4 years. Uh, online, never in person.
Hmm.
And so one time I went to LA. I go to the NAMM show every year in Los Angeles, in Anaheim. Like it's a big gear show. With all the guitars and everything for music. So I met him at the NAMM show, and I went to his house to finally meet him in person and his family. He's
mm-hmm.
actually Israeli, so they live in LA. His father's a lawyer. So anyway, we were at his house, I was going to give him a lesson in person one time, in person finally. I was like, wow. And we went to the NAMM show all day. And at the end, after we ate dinner, he says, man, he told me, Ron, I can't take a lesson. I'm too tired. And so I said, what? So I never taught this guy in person ever.
That is so funny.
And I went to his house actually to give him a lesson. He never. It was a really a funny. That was the funniest thing, man. I was like, okay, whatever. And this guy's really a talented guy. He has a lot of followers, man, on Instagram and TikTok. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. He's like a really. He actually tours a lot by himself. His father supports him and goes around. He came to New York one time. I went to see him. But yeah. Sweet. So I've been doing that for a while. I've been, sometimes I teach people like in Germany or Australia. You have to figure out the time zones, and I have some students in California. Like I meet a lot of people on social media now. So one of the guys I met, one of my students, he's a guitar teacher. He wanted to learn how to play jazz, so I started teaching him. He saw me on YouTube in spring, during the pandemic, and then his son, was really in love with what I did too. His son's like 7, and he said, "Dad, I want to study with Ron too." So now I teach his son and him. So, and because he was trying to teach his son, but he was getting nowhere because it's his son, So
right.
So it's like these are great guys, So yeah. So I mean, yeah, most of my students are online, but I don't mind teaching, And it's really funny too. Like one of my students I was teaching before the pandemic here in New York, he would come to my place. He's in Long Island. Now it's like such a hassle. It seems like to get somebody's house and just teach somebody because all the traffic. New York's traffic's crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, so I went to his house one time recently after, like about a month ago, and I was driving over there, and I was like, wow, man, this is a drag. And try to get there, it takes like hour and then an hour and a half to get back.
Right.
And he was trying to come over here. He was stuck in traffic. It's just like crazy. But so. Yeah. It's much easier. You just go online, just like we did. You could be anywhere. Just sit in front of the computer. You're done. Right. Just go back and down the room. That's the great thing about it. But it's not like the same as, as in person. But
so
it has its advantage.
Curious, Ron, throughout your career, who are some of the most famous people that you may have played with?
Jimmy McGriff. Do you know him?
Oh yeah, Oregon.
Randy Weston. I gotta think about this. A bunch of different people. Lonnie Smith, I played with him before. He just passed away.
Yeah, he just passed.
I gotta think about all kinds of different people, man.
Some of the big ones, though.
Different kinds of stuff. I've been, the most important thing. It's really funny when I started doing What this publicist I got now, who's really like the top publicist in jazz, Don Lukoff, he promotes, all kinds of, a lot of the top artists, in guitar. It's like he does Mac Avenue Records, for example, and he does, as far as singers, he does like Cecile Sauvant, her, the singer, Grammy Award singer.
I think I was listening to them on Spotify.
Yeah. Anyway. He does a bunch of people, Winton, all kinds of people. Anyway, he didn't care who I played with. Because you know what, when you play with as a sideman, no one really knows who you are until you start releasing your stuff as a leader.
Right.
So he said, who have you been reviewed by? Downbeat? Who? I said, yeah, I have been reviewed by New York Times Downbeat, but as a leader, no. They said, oh, we don't care about that. So it's actually so important just to get out and just be a leader as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And one good example is like one of my guitar teachers is Pat Martino. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's like one of the most. Yeah, he was always famous for being Pat Martino. Like he didn't really. He played with other people, but they weren't like really big people. But he was always famous for being Pat Martino. Whereas like let's say I took a lesson recently with Mike Stern, the guitar player, and he's famous really for playing with Miles Davis, because there are people who are famous for playing with certain people,
right.
Or there's some people who are just famous for being themselves. Like another great example is Pat Metheny. He's like been famous for being himself. Like he played with like Gary Burton maybe in the beginning, but he was always famous for doing his own concerts.
Gotcha.
You know, so the most important thing is just to get my own. One of the things I regret, even though I have 8 albums out, is that I didn't release more albums. Actually, you
Really?
know, yeah. I mean, I should have like at this point, I should have like 20 albums out.
Oh
You
wow.
know,
And
yeah.
why
I
do
mean,
you
people.
regret? Why do you regret not releasing more?
Uh, uh, well, the more albums you have out, the more you become what's the word relevant as a
Okay,
leader.
gotcha.
Yeah, like you know,
More
it's important to get
material.
your own albums up. Yeah, well, yeah, just more credibility actually
Yeah.
as a
Gotcha.
leader. If you play in a band for a while, you get kind of lost. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
that as a
I got it.
sideman. But if you're Ron Jackson, you have all these records out. It's
Right.
better.
Right.
It's so like I'm making sure I try to release a record every 2 or 3 years now. Like right now, it's my last album was 2019, so I'm trying to get my album out by 220. I was trying to get my album last year out, but that wasn't going to happen because of all this stuff. And before that, my last album before that was in 2014, so that was a big gap to me. So I can't let it go less than more than 2 or 3 years now to get an album out.
Mhm.
Some guys get albums out all the time, like once a year. I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed. So you got to keep doing those projects over and over, keep your name out there, get relevant, as a leader,
Yeah.
and that's what's really important.
So what do
I
you
just,
find is the barrier to releasing more music? Because I know with me just recording, if you're performing a lot, it's hard to have that time to write music, record it.
oh
It's
man,
just, you're all over the place.
tell me, it's hard.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me was not. I mean, of course, I have a lot of material. I have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Of course, I've got to choose. But the thing is, the hardest part is just being able to fund it. To
Okay.
me,
Yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah.
Getting the
Because I have a
money.
lot of
Right.
ideas. Yeah, I mean that's always been the problem. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about releasing. If you have the money to fund it, to press the album, and all that
Mm.
stuff. And the most important thing though is really just to get the once you get the album out is to promote it because it
Right.
does
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
album does if no one hears about it, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So
So
actually, the most important. Go ahead.
what's the average cost to produce an album to get it out there?
Well, basically, my Indiegogo, I'm trying to raise $32,000, but that's not that much money, really, compared to some other albums. Most of that, I'd say, about a third of that is, or half of that. Well, let's say about a third of that is just a promotion alone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, the radio promoter. A third to half is actually also the manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you're buying the rights of the songs. When you record a song, someone else's song, you have to pay them mechanical
Right.
royalties. The manufacturing, the artwork, the studio time.
Yeah.
Um, when I print the CDs up, most my radio promoter and the publicist, they want 300 CDs to mail, and you have to pay for the mailing too,
Wow.
and that's expensive.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why, yeah. So my last album, the one I showed you earlier, Sanders and Other Songs. This one, I funded this myself mostly. So that was that's how much I basically spent on this album. The
Mm-hmm.
artwork, the photos. I just had the photos. I just had my photo session yesterday in Manhattan.
Mm.
A little over downtown Manhattan. We got some great shots, I think. You
Yeah.
know, but I try to offset these costs. Even then, like I had I had some help with some of my endorsers here. Like the logos here and
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's that's what costs a lot. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm trying to raise some money to a crowdfunding. So actually, people get in. Some people want to have their name on the album. So some people, like 5 people, bought their name on the album. Just to put their name. So,
Mm-hmm.
so like five or six people already donated. Put at $100 you just put my name on a credit on the album. So that's what they did. You know.
Oh, it's only $100 for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Put me on your next one then.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
you can do
warm
that.
thinking.
I'm a little low right now, but I'll have it for the next one.
Oh no, yeah, no. I mean, it's going till November the 7th, so don't worry, no, Warren, you got
November
time.
the 7th. Okay. Okay. Now you're putting a
You
little
know
pressure
what? Too,
on me
I
now.
have to do a lot of. I have to do a lot of outreach. You know, like I have to actually tell people, look, if you want to have your, you know, your name on the album or your logo, I have to actually tell them, look, this is the perk and how much it costs. But you know, if you want to donate, if you can't afford it, just donate. And I'll put it on there. So you know, it's funny. The people that printed my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling them, look, you know, if you want, like, would you like to have your logo on the album? It's going to be, you know, on my website. It's going to be, you know, on the tour posters and everything. And they said, I said, what? Sure. You know, there was a lady said, asked her one of her coworkers, you think I should do it? Yeah, it's a good idea. I said, okay. I said, how much do you want for that? I said, would you give me 10 or 15% off? She said, okay, 10% off. Okay. So I said, now she's gonna have her logo on the shirts.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
a logo
We have a
on the
graphic, Ron.
huh?
We don't call it a logo, but we got a real cool graphic. Laka did. I think we need to
Oh
get that.
yeah,
What do you think, Laka?
yeah, yes.
There you go.
No wait, don't worry. I'll work with you guys whenever you can
All
afford.
right.
Yeah, that's how it
Thanks,
works.
man.
But that's how I do. I do different deals with different people, and so we all get the goal of getting my record out and getting your name out there
Yeah.
too. Actually,
All right.
and
All
it
right.
works. You know, it really works. Actually. You
Okay,
know?
don't let me forget now.
Oh yeah, Laka, don't forget you're his memory box.
Okay.
He's
Yeah, really
retired now.
depending on me, it might be a problem.
No, yeah, Warren says he's really tired. I mean, retired. Just kidding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
Well,
yeah, so
I'm
that's a
more
lot of stuff.
retired than tired right now. I'm definitely retired.
Yeah, so yeah.
Ron, I like your like mix of, doing reimagining some of the standards versus some more of the like pop or tunes of today and then your originals. I think that keeps things like really interesting. So of like, I know you mentioned Drake and and Brian McKnight, what are some of your like favorite, just like, mainstream artists?
I mean, one of my favorite of all time was the Isley Brothers, for example.
Ooh,
You
out
know,
of St. Louis. Yes.
it's really
Mhm.
funny.
What?
They I went to their they had a street naming in Teaneck, New Jersey, and I went and I filmed it, and I put it on my Instagram and YouTube. It was, I met Ernie Isley before, you know,
Mhm.
at NAM, and so I went there, and so I love their music. I'm thinking about adapting one of their songs on my next album. I think about it still, but I mean, I love them, man. There's some of my, I mean, Ron Isley is one of my favorite singers ever, for
Yeah.
example. There's all kinds of people I love, though. I mean, I love Luther Vandross. I love
Oh yeah, Luther.
just so many people. I mean, Michael Jackson, of course. I
Right.
mean, and I love all styles of music too. So not
Hmm.
only jazz, I mean, not only R&B or pop or rock, or it could be all kinds of music. I've always been into everything. I've
Hmm.
seen punk bands too in high school. When I was
Yeah.
high in school. When I was high in school.
Oh my gosh.
All kinds of stuff. So I mean, I'm into everything. You name it. I like all styles of music. I like classical music actually too. I studied classical guitar a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, all
Right.
kinds of stuff. Folk
So when you're
music.
thinking about like reimagining a song, like does it just kind of hit you like you'll hear the song and you're like, "Ooh, I think I could reharm this
Yeah.
with
For example, I
something."
have some songs that that are some of my favorite songs. I can't say them yet because they're not released yet, but there's a couple of really good songs that I like. From different artists, like in the style of like Barry White or those kind of people
Hmm.
that I might be adapting to my new album. You know, so you'll be hearing those,
Okay.
but I can't say them yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to be recording them in a couple of weeks, actually, in a few weeks, November 3rd, and so I'm going to be doing that. Yeah, I mean, what I basically when I'm taking a song like Brian McKnight's Anytime, I actually, it's like it's a pop groove or R&B
Hmm.
groove, whatever you want to call it. but I actually made it to a swing song, like da 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 do do da 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 do ba do ba do ba do, so the drums going, so I think about like doing it like that, or Drake's song, Passion Fruit. I heard that on the radio. I was like, wow, this would sound. I want to record this one, but I want to record it jazz style.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a popular song when I play that out too.
Yeah, I
And
remember hearing that song. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
How
I mean,
many,
yeah. So yeah.
how
Go
many
ahead.
venues did you contact so far in St. Louis? About.
I probably contacted all of them. Sometimes you don't get any replies because they get so many people. So the best way is to direct contact. Like this lady Katie, she contacted this guy and put him in an email chain with me.
Right.
That's how I got the gig, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was talking to Jim today at the place.
Yeah.
But he still was trying to get my my graphics and everything together because it's still kind of far away.
Right.
It is far away. It's like March, so it's only October now. So I mean, so he didn't have that together. So I mean, so I'm trying because it's funny. Some of the places I'm playing at already, they're already selling tickets. Like in Ohio, the first place I'm playing at in Ohio, they're selling tickets already, and also the place in Kansas, the last place, a Performing Arts Center, they're already sold like I think 20 tickets already, and it's not till end of March.
Cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's great.
Good.
Yeah. I was surprised about that. I was like, really? You sold that many tickets already? So I mean, so some people are selling tickets already. So I was, if I could start selling tickets now, then when you get there, it's sold out. That would be great. You know what I mean? Or something.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So I'm trying everything I can to get people to come out. Not only book the gigs, but make sure people come out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, like I have a big mailing list, but I'm trying to segment them into the states and cities now, or at least the states, that I'm playing in, so I can just let people know. So I'm trying to build all that up. It's a lot of work, man. All this stuff. It's like never ending.
Absolutely. Well,
And
one day, Ryan, I want to be that guy that I could just pick up the phone and make that call and get you in there. Not there
That'll be
yet.
great. Soon. Yeah, well, we're getting close now. Finally, I'll meet you in March, and I'll meet Laka too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. I played in St. Louis. I played in St. Louis years ago.
You remember the venue?
I think it was. Is there a Fox Theater there or something? It was a Broadway show. It was a
Oh
Broadway
yeah,
show.
it was definitely at the Fox.
Yeah, I played there with a show called "Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk." It was like a Broadway show in New York that Savion Glover starred in. I used to do a lot of Broadway stuff too, but Broadway stuff is not good for you as a leader because no one knows who you are if you're in a Broadway show because you're in the band.
Right. Yeah.
I've done a lot. Actually, someone just asked me to do something on a Broadway show next month in December. So I'm going to be looking at a show actually. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I think I might have one of the artists I used to work with. He was a Senegalese percussionist. His son was born there. His name was Morcham, and he lived in New York. He played with he was a djembe player from Senegal, and his son started rapping, and this was in the late '90s or something. And then they moved to Atlanta, and he told me his son started rapping. They were living in Jersey City. He told me his son started rapping. I said, whatever, man, everybody raps. I was thinking. So they moved to Atlanta, and guess who his son is now?
Who?
Akon.
Oh yeah.
So they used to live in St. Louis. I used to work with Akon's father. I knew Akon too, and I remember when his father was at their house in Jersey City, and I was like, "My son's rapping, man." I was like, "Okay."
You're like, whose son isn't rapping these days?
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, they moved to Atlanta, and he brought me to Atlanta actually to play with him. I used to play a lot with this guy. We used to tour a lot, like drive like everywhere, and ever since his son has become famous, I talked to him like maybe about 6, 7 years ago, and I said, "What are you doing now, Morcham?" "Nothing, man. I quit playing." I was like, "Oh, well, what do you expect? What do you do now?"
Al, who we had on last week, he knew him too. He was talking about him, wasn't he? You
Yeah,
remember
he
that
did
one?
mention him. Uh-huh. He mentioned him.
Yeah.
He mentioned more
The
charm or
dad is
Akon.
Yeah.
the dad.
Oh yeah. I used to work with him a lot in you know, tour with him. This guy on a couple of his albums, but that was interesting.
That is
I
funny.
didn't know until like after a while too. Like this, I know this guy on the radio. Who's that guy? Yeah. So yeah.
So do you ever do any jam sessions?
Oh, to go sit in jam sessions?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course. Actually, I went a couple of months ago. I went to Birdland to sit in, for example.
Oh, Birdland.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of
You
a
know,
trek, isn't it?
no. So because I want to go hang out more often. Trying to hang out. I haven't had time recently because of all this campaigning and preparing for my album. But there's this jam session that Winnard Harper, the drummer. Do you know Winnard Harper? He's a great drummer
I've
that
heard
lives
the
out here.
name.
Yeah, he's one of the best drummers in New York. He has like a jam session like in Jersey City. So I went there like in August to sit in. So sometimes I go sit in. Yeah, and there's one actually right near here in Jersey, in Inglewood. They have like a jam session like at one of these Elks lounges. So I get hired to play sometimes on that kind of place.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I do jam sessions sometimes.
Great.
Or I sit in sometimes, but once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do it more often now because I took for granted going out before the pandemic more often. Like I work for Jazz at Lincoln Center, so I have like I can go to Dizzy's anytime I want to see music for free with no cover, with a guest, and I never took advantage of that before. Like I would just go once every couple of months, but I could go anytime I want. And
Is that far from you?
No. No.
Oh.
No, it's not. No. I mean, everything can be far in New York with traffic. So
Right.
yesterday I was in Manhattan, filming. I was actually getting my photo shoot done for my album, and then I had to go to Staten Island. Drive all the way down there. And the thing that kills you in New York is the tolls. Like cross Staten Island, back and forth. It's like $15 across that bridge. Then you can take a tunnel from Brooklyn to Manhattan. It costs you $6. Then you go from Jersey, or Jersey back to New York. It's like $11 to $15. So it's like you can spend like $50 in tolls in one day.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I know. If you want to get there faster,
Right.
you know what I mean. It's crazy, New York, for that kind of stuff, man. Parking yesterday was $35 in the city just to park the car.
Mm-hmm.
I know. St. Louis is not like that. I'm coming there soon, so I just want to know.
No.
It's not that bad. No,
You
no,
can
no.
park on the street.
My car be there after? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's the other situation.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming there. So I'm going to be playing there in March.
All right.
March
definitely.
9th.
Yeah.
We'll be
Wednesday,
ready.
March 9th.
So now, before we let you go, we do have to mention that you do have a daughter that also sings, correct?
Oh, yeah, Lucia.
Is she still doing it?
Oh, yeah. She's still, during the pandemic, obviously, she hasn't been singing as much. Also, she just had another baby a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay. That's another
But
grandchild.
she came to my fundraiser. If you go to my YouTube channel, I just put a video. No, actually, I didn't put that video up. I have a video of her singing with me at the fundraiser. She sang one song, but I have a video of me playing it during the fundraiser. But anyway, before the pandemic, we were supposed to do like a big concert here in New Jersey, for example, at a theater, but that's been postponed for a while. Actually, we got to contact those people. But we've had a couple of streaming concerts, particularly for the Queens Public Library. They do like a jazz series I did something like that for them last night, actually, with somebody else, a tribute to Art Blakey last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with a couple of guys that used to play with Art Blakey. So that was this bass player named Okan Essi, and the trumpet player named Valery Pomernerov, who moved all the way from Russia to play with Art Blakey back in the back in the 70s. Yeah. So yeah, we did something last night. So we've done some of those things. And she's a dancer too, so she teaches dance.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
yeah, so we've had a few gigs since the pandemic.
Now, does
So
she
do
play
you also?
guitar?
No, she doesn't.
Just
She plays
sing.
piano. Yeah, she just sings.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You also know Ronnie Barrage, I understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've known Roddy for years.
Okay. He is from
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be hosting tonight. Maybe, I think at one point.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
think he
guess
had
the
a
gig
gig or
came up.
something.
Yeah, he said a gig came up, so I said, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, no problem, man."
Yeah. Duty calls.
Yeah. I forget where he was playing, but I remember he texted me. He's playing someplace in
Mhm.
the city. I think in Harlem, someplace.
Okay.
You know, you got to get those gigs when you can, especially if you're a guitar player. I mean, a musician. Excuse me. You know?
Right.
Well, hopefully
But
one day we'll all get to meet up and hang out when you come around, or who knows, we may come that way.
oh yeah, definitely. But I'm gonna hope we'll talk before that. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely see you on the 9th of March. I hope you'll be there. No, in
Oh yeah.
St.
Well,
Louis.
hopefully we'll talk before that.
And I'll put you in
Yes,
touch
if
with.
I don't have a gig, I will definitely be there.
Oh, good. And I'll put you in touch. I'll put Warren in touch with Jim because maybe he could do the podcast before.
Oh, I know, Jim. I mean, oh yeah, you mean we could do it before the show there?
Yeah, because you know what? Because my show's on a Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be perfect.
You know.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
you want to podcast
Jim-
while
You know
he's there?
what?
Yeah.
We
Well,
went
you should coordinate that with Jim because he didn't want a conflict to bring people to the place. Somehow maybe like because you're having the podcast at the same time as my
Oh,
show.
we can do it before. But we were just talking about because we had another guest who didn't necessarily want to do the podcast online. She wanted to do it in person, and we were just trying to find a venue. And actually, the Blue Strawberry might be a good spot.
Hmm.
Yeah. I heard it's a nice space. I heard it's a nice space too.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's not a
Awesome.
bad
Well,
location.
anything you want to tell? Make sure we let the people know before we end today.
No, just the most important thing is my my Indiegogo campaign. If everybody could
Right.
you could just share that. Everybody go there and do what you can.
Definitely.
You know, and then support my tour when I come out there. I work for a place called Lively. They when we do like live lessons and stuff. They're going to be doing like pay what you can event streaming event for my Indiegogo too in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks from
Okay.
today. So you'll see that on my website and all that stuff though. But the most important is that campaign. That's the most important thing.
All right then.
And we'll be talking.
We'll definitely be
Absolutely.
talking. So we'll look forward to being on your CD one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it too. And
All
you're gonna
right.
be wearing these shirts all over St. Louis. Hey, when you get that shirt, man, go to Ron Jackson's page.
Yep.
Well, great.
Definitely.
It was great talking with you guys.
All right,
All right.
Ron, you take care and say hello to everyone, and we will definitely be talking to you again soon.
Okay, great. Have a great night, everybody.
All right.
All
You
right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Brought to you by St. Louis City Jazz, a 501c3 company dedicated to music education and appreciation. The CEO is Magic Man 50, and for more ways to connect with City Jazz Sessions, visit cityjazzsessions.wixsite.com/St. Louis. The City Jazz Sessions team includes host, content director, and guest coordinator, jazz great Ronnie Barrage. Follow Ronnie at ronniebarrage.biz. Host, website designer, graphic artist, content director, and guest coordinator, singing sensation Laka. Discover more about Laka at lakamusic.com. Additional production services are provided by Lions Den Productions. Go to thelionsdenstl.wixsite.com/home. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more great content.